Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another week of DZG League of Legends. Tonight we have DZG Arcadia taking on Collective Colors. Tonight I'm joined with Burb for Silent Elements. I keep doing that, as we have already gotten into the bans. So we do see the Udyr taken off the table along with the Jarvan. And what are some of the big things that you were looking for tonight in the draft phase here, Silent?
Honestly, I'm expecting their best chance for each player because both teams are kind of struggling in the Neon MetaShift League at the moment, but they do have a chance, however, if they go 2-0 or 2-1, whoever wins, they have a chance at making it into the playoffs.
And it's always exciting when, there's still that light at the end of the tunnel to go for, with still skin of the game here, so to speak. But we do see the last of the bans coming through for the first phase. The Mundo Blitzcrank taken away by DZG Arcadia, as well as the Akshan and the Mordekaiser taken away by Collective Colors, as the Seraphine is the first lock-in here for Arcadia.
I mean, I think Seraphine is a great pick. It can be flexed into different areas, and it's definitely one of those that you can play safely regardless of what lane you decide to play.
Well, I know that we have seen the Maokai coming into the world's meta in the jungle recently. The tree has been played quite a bit, but not sure where we're going to see this one, as it can also be going down into the support role. Ashe Maokai locked in for the side of Collective Colors in answer to that Seraphine here.
Which do you think at the moment has the better Senna? I haven't seen her in a bit.
I'm a little indifferent right now. I think you're not really going to want to put that Maokai somewhere until you kind of know what the rest of Arcadia is going to be doing. The Maokai in the jungle offers a lot of CC, and I just feel like Maokai into Seraphine is a little sketchy, just because he needs to go in and easily getting charmed up. But Hecarim will be joining the roster of DZG Arcadia, and the quick Vladimir answer there from Collective Colors as we head into the second round of bans.
Honestly, I think we're looking at two great team comps. We have the team fight of DZG Arcadia at the moment, along with the picks that Collective Colors with their flanks, and I'm interested in seeing how the rest of this draft will play out.
Well, I mean, you have scaling with scaling. Vladimir becomes a late game menace, as well as Senna. So tell me here, Silent. Like, I know you know Arcadia a little bit better than I. So do you see that Seraphine going into the mid lane, or is that going to go in down there in the bot lane with the Senna?
I see the Seraphine most likely going into bot lane more than anything. Mid lane, I feel like there's still options. I mean, the Echo's still on the table in terms of GVG's picks. It's gonna be interesting to see if the other team will try to take it since they also happen to play Echo. So far, I think it's a little bit early to tell how the rest of this draft will play out, but we'll see.
And we will see indeed as the last of the bans came in. So that was a Malphite Braum taken away from the red side and the Trundle Gangplank as well. So a lot of focus there in that top lane with one more support ban coming through. That support ban is indicative of the fact that DZG Arcadia might be thinking that Maokai is going into the jungle. But a lot of focus in that top lane and the Trundle. I'm sorry, not the Trundle. The Maokai tree in the jungle is definitely going to be the forecast here as that Nami is picked up for support. There is still a very unlikely world that tree goes top, but I doubt it. Don't think they're going to be saving that last pick for the jungle here, as it's now going to be DZG's turn to take their last 2 picks.
I mean, the Collective Colors does have the option to play it still in either role, depending on what DZG Arcadia picks for the remaining 2 picks. So, I mean, if they see something better that Maokai can just exist in, they might choose to have that actually play out.
Well, the amount of CC that Maokai brings to the table is absolutely amazing, but it's going to be the victor here to match up against that Vladimir. Control Mage kind of versus the hyper carry of the Vladimir, I think, is going to be a good option here for the side of DZG. As last pick coming in, they have to blind the top lane, most likely, unless it is the tree in the top. And super interested to see what they're going to give to the hands of Argo. Oh.
I think.
Okay. All right. I do not have words anymore. Is that a victor top lane?
I mean, arguably between GVG and Argo, I think that Argo has the better Victor. So I think the Kiana, especially with GVG's playstyle, I see the Kiana as a something that he can play as well. Nocturne. It looks like we're in for a lot of fights.
Okay. So uh I'm super confused. Here's what I think, Silent. I think that is a Victor top lane, Haggrim jungle, Kiana mid with a Senna Seraphine in the bot lane. And I think on the side of Collective Colors, it's actually a Vladimir top, Maokai jungle, Nocturne mid with the Ash Nami. Do you disagree?
I agree with DZ Arcadia, but I feel like for Collective Colors, it's a Maokai top, the Nocturne jungle, the Vlad mid, and
Okay.
Ash and Nami in the bot lane.
All right. I mean, it's a triple flex, right? Because Nocturne can play mid jungle, and I guess technically top. Vladimir can play mid top, and Maokai can play top jungle. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where these finally slot in. If anybody has any opinions, please drop them in the chat. Hopefully you're a wiser man than I, or lady than I. But so now we see both team comps, and I mean, there's going to be a little bit of variability with where the individual players might go as we really get into it. What do you think took the edge in the draft phase?
I want to say DZG Arcadia just because they have better scaling and their team fight is quite something. I mean, you have the Seraphine ult, you have the Senna on top of it with the Hecarim running in, you have the Victor with just his ult, and along with Kiana. If you're not careful of playing around the jungle and near walls, then basically that's another area that you're gonna have to be careful. So basically, if they ever get into these tight corridors, although Collective Colors has that Maokai ult, I would not want to be stuck there with that many layered ults.
Oh, absolutely. But the issue that I see for DZG Arcadia, it's going to be about setup, 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 setup. They don't have a front line. They need to look for chances to get the Hecarim in, to do something, and then be able to follow up with the rest of the team. Or honestly, they're going to have to be really relying on that counter-engaged setup. Nocturne Maokai and playing off of that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they want to navigate this one. As for me, it's just so chaotic. I can't even really give a clear winner to the draft here. I like the Senna and the Seraphine, but if Vladimir is piloted correctly, which can be at this level of play, and it's going to be the Victor coming in here for the top lane, and you might be right about that Maokai top.
It might be because I have a little inside knowledge in terms of just familiarity with both sides of the players.
Hmm.
Um, but I do see that a lot of the early game is going to be dependent on how Hecarim's ability to gank is successful or not, as well as Senna and Victor's ability to scale into the long term, along with Vladimir's ability to kind of scale without dying, because Vladimir needs items in order to be actually absolutely terrifying. Whereas the rest of their team, I feel like with the Ashe, with the Maokai, both side lanes are a lot easier to gank, so the Nocturne gets to level 6, he'll definitely want to spend efforts on both the side lanes. Whereas with DZG Arcadia, you kind of have like 3 different lanes to really pick from. Although if that Victor does stay in the top lane, I feel like you just want to leave his lane alone and kind of play with the Kiana and the Senna Seraphine. I think bot lane would be actually DZG Arcadia's best lane to gank.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially early with the Center Seraphine, and I imagine it's going to be the fasting setup. So the level of control there can definitely vary as things go on, and depending on who pilots it as well. Now coming in here for the side of collective colors, we definitely see exactly what you're expecting there: the Maokai, the Nocturne, and the Vladimir going into those respective lanes. So pretty much lining up here, and it's going to be the Seraphine in the hands of Vanosphere.
I mean, as long as he manages to position perfectly in these fights, he's going to be an absolute terror to the other team because Senna just needs to collect stacks. So
Sure.
we'll see how this bot lane plays out. I feel like as long as Arcadia is allowed to scale and they manage to layer their CC, their team fight might seem pretty unstoppable.
But one thing that I always take into consideration when I do see the Senna Seraphine combination, if Seraphine is piloted in the hands of the AD carry and Senna is piloted in the hands of the support, there is a little bit of a role mismatch that the team needs to adjust for instead of playing traditional AD carry support. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play out. I'm always interested to see it, and it's kind of, you take a look at Cloud9, they're able to pull it off pretty well because their support used to be an AD carry. So it's definitely going to be fun to watch. But now we're heading into the spectator delay. Any closing comments that you really want to make on this?
I'm just excited for these two teams to duke it out and see how these fights will change this landscape of MetaShift's playoffs.
Certainly, certainly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in the game, or here in the draft phase going into the spectator delay. One team can make it into playoffs here depending on who takes the cake. And as always, be sure to check out our sponsors. Need some energy? Feeling a little down? Check out Dubby. Just type in !Dubby, click on the link in chat, and get yourself some energy. Everybody, take care. We'll be right back.
Can't stay in my feet. What I'm gonna do if I really want to? But you know, baby, break my mind empty. But you have the key, so open my place, my place. I can't stay in my feet. What I'm gonna do if I really want to? But you know, baby, break my mind, break my mind. So open my place, my mind. So open Sometimes I can't help but feel like I don't belong here. Out of place, out of mind, like all the time. There's nothing else that feels like it's meant for me.
Both teams are taken to the Rift. We've got a little bit of a cluster here coming out from DZG and a 5-man fan out here from the side of Collective Colors. Once again, joined here by Silent Elements and Silent. Anything from the initial just loading screen that you saw that kind of caught your eye?
I'm noticing that both solo laners for DZG Arcadia went with First Strike, as well as the Ashe for Collective Colors decided to go with the Ghost Flash. So that will be interesting to see if Ashe will be able to run down anyone, although that is a lot of CC coming in from the direction of DZG Arcadia.
Certainly, certainly. And the first strike from Kiana means I'm expecting to see a lot of trading patterns here in the mid lane as well. Trying to abuse that Vladimir before he hits his level 9 because he gets that max Q. That's going to be super interesting to watch. Now, both teams just kind of doing a 5-man stance here. Nothing too exciting going on in the early game. But, I mean, that's kind of the way DZG wants it to go. They do have the scaling here in the hands of the Senna, a little bit in the form of the Victor as well. So the
We
slower
see
this
that
game
the
goes for
solo
DZG.
lanes also swapped.
Oh, that is
Argo.
a very good point to make. Yeah, so Argo going into the mid lane on the Victor and GVG with the Kiana in the top lane, which I feel is a better matchup for GVG, certainly.
Yeah, I honestly have not seen this matchup, so I couldn't quite comment on it. But I think it is nicer to have that Victor in that short lane where you kind of safely scale, but at the same time, that begs the question, who's going to scale better in the long run?
It theoretically should be the side of DZG here. You have the Victor, you have the Senna. The and yeah, I don't think anybody's seen Kiana Maokai in lane. So that's definitely gonna be an interesting matchup for sure. And all the places that I thought Maokai was gonna go, he didn't. I thought he was either gonna go support. I thought he was either gonna go into the jungle here. As we're starting to see those trading patterns. The Q goes wide for the Kiana there, but things kind of just going as you'd expect. Trading patterns, getting the most use of that first strike as possible, as long as he remembers to farm.
Yeah, and we're watching that Kiana kind of push up, so that Nocturne does notice that there's quite a opportunity
He's
there.
going for it instantly. You see him kind of collapsing there on the minimap. Kiana goes ahead and uses the E to get out. I think that was a flash forward by the Maokai. It was. He goes in with the Twisted Advance. Damage coming in now. There's a second E from Kiana. She's feared. She's running it out. Does not need to flash. Overall, she's going to have to recall. But that was a flash gank attempt there. And GVG surviving that one out. I think that's as good as you can hope for.
Yeah, and we're looking at a full clear from the Hecarim, so, I mean, with both bot lanes being low, maybe he's looking for an opportunity to gank after this.
Yeah, most definitely, especially if you know the top laner does not have flash, so going to be coming onto the opposite side of the map. But bot side is going to be the first call here. The flash forward from the Seraphine. It will be the answer flash from Alor. Now Obs is going to be the target. Damage coming out. The E from Senna does not connect, and it's not going to be the damage needed. Definite Lesbian getting a whole bunch of stacks there, but not getting the kill. So flash for flash, but it came out of the Seraphine versus the Ashe. And it looks like Alms flashed as well in that exchange. So definitely good for the side of DZG. Now, Hecarim has all the targets in the world. He has the top side targets. He has the bot side targets. And it's just going to be based on how the DZG laners want to manage their waves here as we do get a pause coming in. Yep. We see it in the chat. It is jungle lag coming in from the side of Collective Colors.
Well, I was honestly expecting a little bit more from that bot lane gang simply because that Nami was positioned dangerously in the middle bush, and honestly there was an attempt where once you got that Ashe flash, you could have gone straight with the E straight at that Nami and either made her burn her flash or made her or got her earlier.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did not look like the last embrace connected, or was targeted well, kind of like you hinted at. So, um, just there's a lot of CC potential there, and I mean the flash out of Alor was quick, right? As soon as the Seraphine flashed forward, Alor was very quick to flash back out as well. Now the health bars are going to be really low here for the side of Alor and Alms, and DZG have already got a 7 CS advantage here. We do get back into the game. Jungle stopped lagging, hopefully, but the wave management up here in the top lane is looking a little not in favor of Kiana. She had to take that recall, got down 10 CS, so I don't know if we're going to be able to punish that flashless knockout.
Yeah.
And the wave crashes, thank the gods. And just hang tight a little bit, we will have a bit of a spectator bug, pauses, and League of Legends do not get along.
Well, it looks
So
like we're good to go.
back in time. We went back in time, so we'll see if it actually fixes it. If not, we might have to just break everything down. But all right, so we're seeing the recalls coming out now from the side of DZG. They did crash a wave in the bot lane, and just kidding, they want to drop a ward and maybe we start channeling that recall. Might have a little bit of a scuffle here over this scuttle, but GVG just shoves Nocturne off and gets the scuttle for free, which that is fantastic for the side of GVG. Scuttle, I think, equivalent to 6 CS or maybe 5.
Yeah, the Nocturne definitely was playing a little bit because he had priority in neither solo lanes and still wanted that scuttle. So honestly, I think he should have gone for that easy CS in the Raptors and just gone on to the rest of his clear.
Certainly. First strike's going to be the Hextech Drake, so this should be fun to watch as Bubble does not connect here in the bot lane, and everybody's just content farming back up. Ashe, surprisingly enough, was able to capture back most of the CS. The last embrace does connect. We're going to see some fallout damage here, and the answer is no, despite the bot lane of Collective not having any mana. DZG just did not opt into that one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're deciding to push the wave back or they're going to try to freeze the wave, but from the looks of it, they're going to have it net 0 and just meet up in the middle again.
Certainly. Well, in the mid lane, things business as usual as Vladimir goes forward for a little bit of poke, gets his health back for the empowered Q, and dead even in the CS department there, as Vladimir actually picked up the coal here, Silent.
I mean, I definitely see that as a smart move because theoretically Victor and Vlad should not kill each other. They should just kind of farm it out. Although Vlad has a little bit more kill pressure since he can technically use his phase rush to Q and kind of heal off, where Victor literally will have to either TP back to lane or just continue poking Vlad down. So, I mean, I understand the call. The question is, which jungler is really going to have an opportunity to make that early taking an early advantage to either their lanes? Like, where exactly are we going to see this fighting, or are we just going to let the both teams scale and then duke it out when everyone has full items?
Pi went and checked for the Raptors there in the top side jungle of Collective Colors, didn't find them, so he just went to his own. And no, I feel like there's a lot of kind of, I wouldn't say pressure, but it's kind of a lot reliant on Ty right now. You have 3 laners on the enemy team that don't have flash yet. Maokai's got about another minute 30-ish on his flash. Bot lane doesn't have theirs, but the problem is the laners need to set up conditions and call for him if they haven't already. Now it's going to be Snapback here hanging out in the mid lane, but does not see the ward, does not see an opportunity because, once again, lane stage just not optimal for the gang. So the jungles need to be really working with their laners to kind of set up something. Or, you know, if you're the side of DZG, you just kind of accept it, right? We already talked about the scaling being in their favor. They don't have to pressure anything, but getting early game leads is never a bad thing.
Yeah, and we're looking at the junglers actually start being on the same side at the moment. So the question is, will we see a fight right now?
I'm hoping. I always love the fights. It gives me something to do. But yeah, kind of just business as usual. It's a very small kind of CS to gold lead for the side of DZG. They're sitting up 300 gold naturally. I don't think any plates have fallen on the map just yet. That is correct. So DZG now bringing up the Senna to come help with the Scuttle Crab, and hopefully we'll see something. Maybe on Lord Beach still has Flash and Pool available, so I don't think we'll see too much fun out of that. And Negative just going right back downstairs, but we're seeing the on-the-way pings into the bot lane, hoping for something.
I mean, Nocturne definitely is trying to rush that level 6.
Well, I think that was a Nami flash over the wall. Spectator did not want to show us that one, but Nami did use her flash defensively over the wall as soon as it came back up. Actually, if you look at those timers, so Alms flashed a little bit before Ash. Ash's flash still on cooldown, but yeah, that's another summoner burn from Ty just kind of rolling around on the map. But Snapback going on, gets onto Definite Lesbians here. Now the Ash arrow does go wide, the snare coming back onto Snapback. Ty now coming down, and will that be a flash over the wall? Another flash burned, this time by Nocturne. Should try to get out of there, bit off a little bit more than they can chew. We got to fight up at the top side, a fight on the bot side. Now the Seraphine Charm going through, a lot of damage going out. Aelor might be the target here, but it's split damage, they could not focus. First blood going over to the Nami here, as the damage was returned into the Hecarim. Follow-up damage now going on to Senna. Definite Lesbian will fall. Snapback will answer as Argo does come down and get some of the damage out. Now, once again, we're not focusing here. Lord Beach, actually, just kidding. Aelor was the one that got the kill. Now, Argo going to be the next on the chopping block, and it will be him falling. Can he get the trade damage? And no, the Nami heal is going to be enough. And that was a 4-for-1 trade in favor of collecting because, honestly, it just looked like DZG could not pick a target.
Like I said earlier when we were looking at their team comps, they need to work on layering their CC, and unfortunately, Ty, as you can see, is level 5. Nocturne was level 6. As soon as you saw there was a discrepancy in the levels of the junglers, especially one has an ult and one doesn't, I don't think a Hecarim should go anywhere near their jungle.
I think they should have just been very content with getting the flash, chasing them off with a kill attempt, and calling it a day, but they kept going for it. And it still could have worked out, but every time I looked at a target here, their health was dwindling. The Nami was dwindling, the Nocturne was dwindling, the Ashe was dwindling, but they never focus fired all of their damage onto one target, and I think that was the death of them, Silent.
Yeah, Collective Colors did a nice job with kind of rotating out their damage to make sure that not everyone took all the damage of DZG and basically ran away and lived. Unfortunately, that does mean that the Nocturne is able to kind of get a lead over Hecarim and potentially have a chance at running away with this game.
Certainly, there was a 300 gold lead for the side of DZG. Now that has shifted to a 1.5 gold lead, but now we have another gate coming in. Maokai will use the Twisted Advance and the Q to get out of there, and yeah, Easy does it. He just walks that one out. But yeah, we're now looking at a 1.5k gold deficit here for the side of DZG. They need to find a way to kind of create some equilibrium here. Flash forward, Q down, a lot of damage going out. Brown Elf, one more auto attack, but he ends up using the flash to get away, and GVG did, and will survive that one out. Now DZG, they know that this Drake has been started up. They're looking for something here. Ash Arrow goes in, Nocturne ultimate pop down as well. A lot of damage, and Vanosphere will fall. That was a 2v1. You did not want that, DZG. But now they're bringing Argo down. They have Ty here as well. Vladimir is going to be able to walk down as well. It's going to be a 3v4. I don't think this is something, but they also don't have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They don't have the darkness coming in from the Nocturne, so they might look to try this, but it's going to be an uphill battle if you ask me. Lord Beach waiting in the wings, trying to get some damage, does get some damage onto Definite, and now we are looking for the all-in. The ultimate used by Lord Beach, a lot of damage going out on Ty, but will it be enough? Negative. The ultimate will fade away, the damage coming through, the Drake secured, and Ty all in with 0 health and just gets blown up. Argo gonna be next on the chopping block as well, turns around, gets some damage, gets the shutdown. Seraphine was the one to pick it up, but now it's gonna be Lord Beach running down Vanosphere, and yes, they will fall. That one does actually go to Vanosphere here. Definite Lesbian on the center will be the only one to survive as DZG once again just give 4 kills over, plus the Drake, only for the trade of 2.
Yeah, and we're looking at the Vladimir get a lead, and honestly, that is not something that DZG Arcadia wants at all. You kind of want this Vlad to kind of go 0-0-0 and continuously go, but this lane phase is obviously starting to go in favor of Lord Beach. From a lot of these fights, it just does not look like DZG is on the same page, and a lot of them are just kind of winging it. And to the deficit of this team, I honestly think if they can work together and layer their CC, they could turn this around. I mean, there's still time.
Well, we're seeing it. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, followed by a Nocturne Ultimate, and the target just dies. And, you know, Seraphine was able to rejoin the fight, but it just wasn't enough coming in there to really make any sort of difference because, you know, if you look at the start of the fight, I don't believe Senna even had ultimate available. She's sitting level 5 when everything kind of broke out there, so definitely level deficits, definitely gold deficits here. Fortunately for the side of DZG, it wasn't complete doom and gloom. They did get a shutdown onto Argo's Victor when he was able to kill the Nami. And we're still, once again, sitting at about a 2k gold deficit here for the side of DZG, so gonna be an interesting one for sure.
And, I mean, as this meta has changed, I remember at the start of the season, a lot of people cared about this Rift Herald. Nowadays, it seems like dragons are all the fad, and Rifts are just left behind.
Ultimate coming in over the top, a lot of damage. Seraphine ult going down. That was the Senna ult coming in, but it will not be enough as Senna will fall. Seraphine will fall, and a 2 quick kills going over to the side of Collective Colors. And they don't really need to do any prep here, Silent. That was literally an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, not layered with a Nocturne Ultimate, and both just died. And Maokai taking 3 plates here off the side of GVG. That is a lot of gold in his pocket as well.
Yeah, from the look of it, it looks like the Nocturne is focusing the bot lane, and the Hecarim for some reason is focusing the mid lane, and I feel like Vlad is probably the hardest person to pick out of all the lanes.
Oh, absolutely. he has Ghost, he has Flash, he has Troll Pool, but you talked about not focusing these heralds, but I guess you gotta go after something eventually. Now Lord Beach is gonna be here to fight this. Senna did roam up, and they should be able to have this. The Twisted Advance coming in for, the ultimate coming in for Brown Ale, and oh my god, Ty just gets absolutely annihilated there by Lord Beach. Now it's going to be DZG trying to focus this one out and push off Brown Ale. They're not looking at the Rift Herald at all. They're looking for the kills. Kiana ult goes forward, does get the stun. Lord Beach next, not going to be on the chopping block because he flashes forward, does get the damage onto Kiana, and will heal up just fine. So a 1-for-1 trade there. I'm sorry, a 2-for-1 trade there. And DZG, just everything they look for, not getting it. It's going to have to be a flash from Vanosphere to dodge the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Now they might be looking for something here, but it's like we've always been told not to do. Do not salvage. Walk away from the play if it's not going in your favor. Stop trying to get more than you can. And DZG now sitting at a 4k gold deficit, and it's just ballooning out of their control.
Yeah, and we're hopefully seeing some they should recognize that they have a lot of scaling outside of the Kiana, who obviously is more, just an ult bot at this rate. They still have an opportunity to turn this around as long as they stay away and play safe under their turrets, try to scale for the long term, and avoid these fights over the neutral objectives that they're basically not prepared for.
Well, we are seeing the gold advantages here now on the board here, Silent, and as this Rift Herald has started, what's really striking you?
I honestly think that Arcadia has a lot to do in order to pull this out. Everything is kind of going in favor of Collective Colors at the moment. They're just showing up at the right time. I think it was a little bit early in the game that could have gone both ways, but right now it's just looking very in favor of.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow did connect, but it wasn't enough. The ultimate under the tower! That's going to be ballsy, and the shutdown comes through, as that will be Argo picking up the shutdown. That Nocturne bit off a lot more than he could chew there. He looked for it. It was damage was close, but it was not close enough. Kiana now not doing too hot into that Maokai, but we saw the Enchanted Crystal Arrow connect. They looked for the follow-up damage, and it just wasn't there in time. Nocturne ult came through, but he was super indecisive about laying the damage, and Argo just was able to get so much there. That was a lot of gold back in his pocket. Not enough to fix the gold deficit, but if you want anybody in this game to get the gold, it's gonna be this Victor.
Yeah, absolutely. Argo with money and gold is quite a terrorist, especially as Vlad easily pulls away from safety. I mean, they at least get this Infernal Drake, so I mean, they're not out of this yet.
Oh, and not only was it the Infernal Drake, which is, you know, lovely, juicy stats, but that was a objective bounty as well, so that was good for the side of DZG. Kind of short up this gold lead, or deficit rather, to just 3,000. And 1-1 Drakes, that's doing pretty good for them. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be a Cloud Soul, which I think is the anti-fun Drake here, but we're going to have to see what really boils out of this one.
I mean, either team can really benefit from this because you have the Vlad, especially with his phase rush, he can kind of run down people, the Nocturne as well, and you have a Hecarim that can kind of use his ult and his E. So honestly, I think this Cloud kind of works for both teams. It just depends on who gets the soul.
Well, we do have a Rift Herald sitting in the pocket of Snapback here. There's plenty of options to utilize it. I always am preferential to using it in the mid lane, just due to the fact of opening the map. But first tower gold is still on the table, so that's it's going to be pretty juicy for whoever is able to secure that one. And just looking at tower health, I think it's going to be the side of Collective that will get this. Nocturne is in the mid, opts to use it in the mid lane here to get that crash. I don't know what time they took it, but I don't know if that's going to be able to get the tower here, Silo. No, certainly not. And all it did was give Senna 2 stacks there to take for herself. So hey, but this mid tower is sitting dangerously low. One good push here from the side of Collective Colors will take this tower, will secure them. The mid tower, but first tower actually does fall on the top side. Kiana, they opted for that lane swap here, and I just don't think it's working in their favor, Silo.
Oh, that Ashe ult misses Senna, but honestly, I don't think that Kiana was the pick. I think there were better champs into this, but I mean, I guess we were thinking more that the Victor would be able to scale harder. You know, there'd be things to play around mid lane.
Damage coming out. That's going to be a root onto Aloy. Now Tyus here shuts him back down, but I don't think that's going to be the damage follow-up. That's going to be the ultimate from both Hecarim and Senna here. Oh, flash forward, be enough! Oh, just inches there, as Aloy will be able to survive. The Nocturnal coming down to just blind the team, so Ashe can get away, but that was a game of inches, and Aloy barely escapes with his life.
Yeah, and we're looking at some of the growing pains. I mean, I think if anyone has watched the season, most of the time you've been used to seeing Graves News in the jungle, and DZG Arcadia. Oh, there's.
Uh-oh, it's going to be a lot of damage on the Brown Ale. That's going to be the Ignite down the damage. He's just going to be able to flash that one out. Lock some sapling for good measure, as the rotation just wasn't there in time on the side of DZG.
Well, as I was saying, Grave News was the jungler for most of the season. Right now, Ty is filling in as jungle, and you can see some of the growing pains with him playing jungle. He's using his ult very late. Like, that opportunity to make a play, he could have used his ult. Feared that Ashe into his team, but instead he opted for the safe play, ran his E, and then when he realized that the Ashe was actually going to get out to safety, he used his ult, which honestly almost killed him.
Yeah, certainly. Kind of ulting under tower in this situation when you're already behind is definitely a sketchy move to make. But you're absolutely right. If you're this far behind, you cannot be too sparing with your cooldowns. If you see something, you need to kind of all commit, not just say, okay, we're only going to use 1 or 2 tools here. You're behind. Use all of your tools, get what you can, try to scrape your way back into the game. Because remember, scaling is in your favor. Try to catch up. Do what you got to do, stall out the game, but if you see the opportunity, you need to go all guns blazing, then play safe until those cooldowns come back up. I'll go here and I'm going to be fighting with Lord Beach a little bit, and I don't really expect anything to come out of the 1v1.
No, but with Dragon coming up in the next minute, I do expect both teams to slowly rotate over to this Drake and try to make a play for it.
Well, another number to look at here, Silent, is the 55 souls here on the Seraphine at 20 minutes. So definitely a little behind the curve in my opinion on that one. Or Senna, sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, this Maokai is just doing whatever they please in top lane, and he still has TP where Kiana does not, which means he can enter any fight despite regardless, and Kiana won't be able to.
Uh-oh. There was definitely a ward there as Ty found out he utilizes the ultimate to get away from the Nocturne ultimate, and good kind of look there from the side of Collective to try to get that pick, just the damage follow-up was not there in time.
Yeah, and I honestly think with the fact that Hecarim uses ult, he needs to just continue farming and give up this Drake. There is absolutely no reason to try for this, despite the fact that there was an ult from Nocturne and Ashe. It's just that Hecarim has no way of getting out if he does go in. So it's a suicide.
Brown Ale utilized the teleport to come down here, and DZG seem to want to fight this for some reason, and they're looking for it. Ty going forward, just walking into the damage from Brown Ale. The charm comes out. Lord Beach not going to be too concerned here. A lot of damage coming out. Oh my god, everybody is just falling. Can't even talk about who's dying that fast. Last member of DZG will fall, and that is a very clean ace from the side of Collective Colors.
Yeah, honestly, I do understand the urgency that you kind of want to get these dragons, but when you use an important ability like Hecarim's ult, there's almost no reason to pick the fight anymore, even with the Ashe and the Nocturne ult down. Just Ashe with their passive is an atrocity. Like, literally, she'll just run you down. They still had Nami, they still had Vlad. Like, there was too many threats in the side lane, and then that Maokai TPing, you get his blown TP, go somewhere else. Try to get the top turret. I mean, he's obviously not there anymore.
You know, with the 2 towers taken, the 5 kills secured, this gold lead has now ballooned up to 8,000. And one of the comments that I wanted to make earlier, when you were talking about the Maokai just doing whatever he wanted, you know, it's funny because DZG panned the Mundo, but I think Maokai's doing a damn good job just filling that role for the side of Collective Colors. But 5 kills to 17, 2 drinks in the pocket of Collective Colors. DZG is definitely fighting an uphill battle at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Retro, thinking back in the past, I mean, what could you have answered this Maokai, though? There was the Mord ban, there was the Trundle ban, so, I mean, it would have been a little bit difficult running any kind of top lane against this Maokai, as any normal one. He just kind of does what he wants and kind of scales slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's coming in now with 2 items. The Demonic Embrace is completed for the Maokai here. And that's also Rabadon's Death Cap completed for Vladimir. He's going to be an absolute monster. 2 items completed. A 10-stack Dark Seal compared to the Shadow Flame and Luden's of Victor with 0 stacks on his Dark Seal, as he was killed in that last fight, clearly. So DZG, yeah, it's just unfortunate. Kiana still hasn't completed the tier item. Seraphine has her tier completed, but unfortunately does not have the gold to be able to finish the Seraphs at this time. So they need to slow the game down. They need to get some gold in their pocket, hit some of these power spikes, and hopefully find a way to get a kill onto Lord Beach, who I'm going to have to say, if his damage is at number 1 at the end of this one, then it's going to have to kind of go, oh, Ty, no. He face checks yet again and will fall, and I think this might just be the free Baron. They're going on it right now. No enemy jungle to contend about, and DZG, you got a turret.
Yeah, there just isn't enough vision across the map to try to do that, and especially as a Hecarim, you know you're the only. Without you, the other team will just do the Baron. Honestly, a safer play is to just not even try to face check as a Hecarim.
Oh, they're looking to fight this one out. That will be a kill coming on to Alms. The Definite Lesbian will fall. Lord BG will fall as well. They got the kill they needed. The shutdown goes on to Argo. Now, Snapback will just run this one out. That was a 2-for-2 trade. But getting some of those shutdowns, I think, has to be worth it as some sort of salvaging play here. DZG get a little bit of gold in their pockets, but it's still going to be the fight here on the bot side as Brown Ale will now be just so much more of a menacing side lane threat.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than nothing. They did try to make a play, and they got some of the bounties for it, but at the same time, Collective still managed to get that Baron, and they still have this Maokai kind of pushing on the side lane. Kind of reminds me of the old days when that Yorick did when we were playing.
Well, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the ultimate coming through, and that will be Argo falling. On the Victor, GVG trying to fight this one out, but has no damage, and will fall as well. Couldn't take down the Victor, I'm sorry, the Nocturne before they left this world. 2 quick kills coming in for DZG trying to get that mid lane tower.
Yeah, I mean, and with the way that the Baron empowered minions are, it's hard for the Seraphine to push them off the turret.
Oh, most certainly. Seraphine is absolutely trying, but I think the minions are killing Seraphine faster than Seraphine is killing these minions here. And Brown Ale, I think he wants to go for this, but I think he knows that it's not the wisest of decisions. He's just kind of looking at it. And now mid lane's going to be under heavy fire here, and they're just going to shove these waves in and back off. We have Drake coming up in 50 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that this is another Drake you're just gonna have to give up just because you're so far behind on gold and you're looking at this half health Seraphine. I mean, she's just barely surviving with these minion pushes, and I think Maokai won't let up the pressure by much. I mean, he obviously can go back, get all the gold that he's at, and just restart, but I honestly think that it's better for them to try to do something off the entire map and make it a play elsewhere.
Soul check, we have Silent here is 67 souls at 26 minutes, so DZG just almost in every single corner of the world, maybe minus the mid lane here, just super behind the curve. That's almost a Flame Horizon in the top lane, 8 kills to nothing there in the jungle. Mid, like we said, is even, and the bot lane is definitely way ahead from the side of Collective Colors, so DZG sitting at that 10k gold deficit, and Drake coming up now, and I think Drake will just be falling now, as yeah, that's a super easy quick up, and Soul Point is now in the hands of Collective Colors.
Yeah, and then we have the Maokai TPing to defend it.
Yeah, pretty much. He's just, and honestly, I don't even know if they get him out in the middle of the lane, they're going to be able to kill him in any sort of decent time. That is a 1-item Senna there for the side of DZG, and yeah, 2 items on Seraphine, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to take him down. So he has no qualms just walking out and looking at 3 members of DZG. As 4 members now here are going to be pressuring this mid lane tower, they're just taking it with all members there, well, the 3 members that are there, and Maokai literally just running Hecker him away. DZG now looking for some sort of flank opportunity. GVG is in the nurse place. He flashes forward, tries to get some damage out. Ultimate goes wide, and now he's just on the chopping block. Snapback is unstoppable. Lord Beach going forward, looking for some sort of damage here, but not going to find anything significant. Keep going forward. A lot of damage on Definite Lesbian. Ultimate comes through from Senna, and it's not going to be enough as Alor will take down Ty. That's going to be Alor taking down Argo. Senna falls, Seraphine falls, and that is a triple kill for the side of Collective Colors, and they should just be able to walk this one down and end it. Maokai just going where he pleases in the top lane, taking towers, and DZG just crumble. The death timers are sitting on 18 seconds for GVG, but I don't know if it will be enough. They could try to maybe even just get triple in him here if they do not look for the end, but I think that this is just complete doom and gloom here for the side of DZG. Silent.
I agree, and honestly, in the save mental, I hope that Collective is able to close out so that way DZG has the time to kind of collect themselves and maybe rethink the draft, because it just feels like Arcadia draft did not go to plan and kind of like well, yeah. It kind of just went all to naught. So we're about to see how this next game goes. I mean, Collective definitely needs this next 2-0 in order to definitely guarantee their spot, and they still need Goblin Esports to go 1-2 and Imagine Shadows lose completely 0-2.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that I'm looking at. When you talk about the draft, I'm fine with the pretty much everything except for Kiana, right? And I was like, okay, I guess maybe Kiana into Victor, or I'm sorry, Vladimir. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad. And then they lane swapped it, which I found very interesting as well. And then when they put him up against Maokai, I guess it was more for the Victor than it was for, which doesn't make sense. I feel like Victor would have been just fine into a Maokai. But the Kiana pick just fell apart for me. It didn't do anything versus the Maokai. And yeah, absolutely, Lord Beach coming in with 21,000 damage there was stellar. Argo trying to put up his best fight, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, we'll see how things turn around, but I think also the junglers made quite an impact. You're looking at a 9-4 and 8 Nocturne, while Ty on his Hecarim only managed to go 0-6 and 4.
Yeah, that there was a lot of Opportunities to improve here for DZG, but once you take a scaling option like Ascena, you have a victor. Just wait the game out. You don't need to look for stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully some of those lessons can be learned here as DZG will be joining or coming back for the Game 2 draft hopefully shortly. We'll see if they make any sort of adaptations. So hang tight. We'll be with you soon.
I've got a sweet escape under bright light. Illuminate my face under bright light. They're shining down on us under bright light. Illuminate your face under bright light. That's when I come alive. That's when I come alive.
I'm all the sins that you can't confess. I'm just your ghost if we're not undressed. A part of me wish that we never met, but you act like we never. Got too wasted in the bathroom of your parents' house. Then you kissed me in the backseat of a taxi ride. And we said things that were cheesy, but we meant them. There were feelings, and now you deny it. You're in love with the idea of me, but you're not in my reality. Find it hard to even picture it, 'cause my reality ain't your reality, no. I'm all the sins that you can't confess. I'm just your ghost if we're not undressed. A part of me wish that we never met, but you act like we never. Got too wasted in the bathroom of your parents' house. Then you kissed me in the backseat of a taxi ride. And we said things that were cheesy, but we meant them. There were feelings, and now you deny it. You're in love with the idea of me, but you're not in my reality. Find it hard to even picture it, 'cause my reality ain't your reality, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for Game 2 of Collective Color versus DZG Arcadia, and immediately getting in as Akshan is taken away from GVG number 1. And DZG said, Maokai, no thank you, and take that one away as well. Once again, Silent Elements, what are you looking here for, man?
I honestly think both sides are gonna, with the exception of that Maokai, I think both sides will keep the bans roughly the same. I don't think there was anything from Collective Colors that they saw from DZ Arcadia that was really frightening. And I think for DZ Arcadia, they just want to take the OTPs and try to have the comfort where you can just scale safely and tank the rest. I think we're gonna see potentially the Mundo banned as well.
Well, we did see the Udyr and the Udyr Mundo Blitzcrank taken away in the last phase 1 for DZG, so they're going to have to give one of those over. And here's something that's I'm a little unaware of. New Udyr, I hear it's broken. Thoughts on it?
I think the new Udyr does Udyr things just better, but I don't think it's really broken. I mean, there is the chance that, the double E, he actually can break CC and kind of has an Olaf-like ability, but I still think you can kind of kite him to death as long as you play it well enough. But I think that a lot of teams, especially in solo queue, suffer from the comms, and that's why it's still really successful in this elo.
Well, DZG do offer the Mundo and the Blitzcrank away, as they will go ahead and take away the Udyr and the Seraphine. They apparently think that the Maokai is a lot more scary than the Mundo here. Trundle will be coming in, so even if they do pick up the Mundo, there is some sort of a reliability on the Subjugate from the Trundle coming in to be able to deal with it a little bit. And DZG now looking for their second pick. They do they got to blind something here, or they actually don't. The mid lane shows if they feel like opting that Victor and once again to the Vladimir. I think that went well. It's just Vladimir was able to navigate the team fights a lot better than Olga was able to. It's gonna be a Kaisa pickup here.
I mean, Kaisa has seen a lot of plays lately. I honestly still think Tristana's a little bit better, but Kaisa still has her ult to kind of ult to safety as well. So Kaisa's not a bad pick, but just kind of like before, she still needs time to scale. She is definitely not an early lane champ.
My concerns here is seeing how DZG played scaling last time. I hope they took a little bit of a lesson there. And it's going to be the Nocturne coming in once again, Collective Color, seeming pretty happy to just run their comp for the most part. Definitely going to need a new top laner here. And the Ashe combo with the Nocturne was fantastic. And I feel like it does pretty well into the Kaisa here, Silent. How do you feel about them just taking an Ashe if they do?
I would definitely feel more comfortable taking the Ashe here. That Ashe, honestly, with Enchanted Crystal Arrows, was literally throwing down as soon as she had it back up, and it was creating such... Oh, look at Morgana.
Talk about locking somebody up for a year and a half. Morgana comes in. One binding followed with a Nocturne ult is going to be pretty damning here. It's a lot of kind of just blind picks, so to speak. I mean, yeah, you know that Kaisa's going to be there, so I guess the answer is the Morgana, but blind Victor, blind Kaisa, blind Trundle. It's definitely a lot of comfort maybe coming in from either side here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we'll still see the Ashe band or whether or not they're gonna let it through. Because as of right now, that Ashe was kind of a huge threat play, and maybe that's why they picked that Morgana now.
Well, Mumu coming in, probably going to be support if I had to guess, just based on where we've seen him slotting into the meta here. Now it's going to be on to the second phase of bans as DZG say, hey, we don't want the Ashe forming up with that Morgana, and I think that's a wise decision.
And they still had an opportunity to ban the Mundo or actually pick the Mundo for themselves. Honestly, it would not be bad into this Vlad or Morgana at the moment. And Nocturne really cannot do anything into a Mundo if Argo seems to play it.
Bans are going to be the Misfortune and the Gangplank, so a lot more top focus coming in here. Argo will not be getting the Victor coming in. They saw how much damage he did last game and said, hey, look, Vladimir into Victor was not going in our favor. And as long as we don't see another Kiana here, Silent, I'm happy, as it will be a LeBlanc getting locked in. Possibly by GVG, but after last game, I have no idea what to expect.
I still feel like this is a lot in favor of the Vladimir. He just safely queues, safety pulls. I still feel like it's still in favor of the mid lane. I would have preferred, honestly, a Mundo top lane into this.
Zaya would be interesting here, especially since you didn't opt into the first half of the Lovers duo, but it's going to be offering a lot of protection here in case Amumu is ever able to try to get a hold of him. I don't necessarily think that this is something you want. There's not too much pick on the side of DZG or Arcadia to warrant the Zaya necessarily, but maybe they know something I don't, Silent.
It might just be more comfort than anything. I mean, the Ashe, you can kind of play super safe. The MF is gone as well. And with the engage that Amumu offers, there's a lot of threat of follow-up in terms of the ult. So, I mean, I do understand wanting to play safe, but we're looking at that Mundo in top lane.
DZG took away 80 carries and left the Mundo up. There is no Mordekaiser to really be able to play into it, but then again, Mundo can kind of just destroy him. But it's going to be a Silas coming in for the side of DZG to answer the Mundo. And I'll be honest with you, I'm looking at the comp once again. I'm not really seeing a lot of ways to kill this Mundo outside of Kaisa getting turbo fed and Trundle being able to give a lot of assistance up there with his ultimate.
Yeah, if anything, the Mundo pick would have honestly taken some of the heat away from the sales of Collective Colors. But I mean, the way I see it right now, I'm thinking the Silas is top lane, Trundle jungle, LeBlanc mid, Kaisa ADC, and the Mumu support just because he's on quite an obstacle in bot lane, and I think we all know where Collective Colors champs are going.
Yeah, the only question that you could ask is just DZG, what they're going to be doing with the Blanc Silas, but I think you're absolutely hitting the nail on the head here. I don't think you're going to be seeing anything too crazy. I mean, we could see a little bit of flexibility with the the Mumu and the Trundle as well, but I doubt it. I think just optimally, you definitely want to keep Trundle in the jungle here. But we're seeing players ready up. How do you feel about the draft? Who do you think really took this one away?
I think Collective Colors, I mean, they have a lot of threat. That Morgana that snares for days. They have a Zaya, basically an ADC you can't touch unless you manage to blow at least 2 CC on her. Either a Mumu's bandages or a Silas E. Like, I don't know how you're really going to get to her outside of those two. Um, and then you have the Vlad that scales long term, and a Mundo who just goes where he pleases.
Yeah, most certainly. I'm inclined to agree with it. I really need to see what the side of DZG is able to do with their bot lane. Hopefully, able to get a lot more of a run up on how things looked last game. But honestly, I feel like a lot of it's going to be in the hands of Ty. We need to see him actually take advantage of those deficit of summoner spells if he is going to be playing for the early game. And you know, the late game decision making needs to come in too, not just face check things. Kind of have a little bit more rhyme to the reason.
I mean, I still find it hard that for Trundle to kind of make these appearances in the lane because if he tries to gank bot lane, you have a Morgana that can literally press E on Zaya. So if Amumu ever bandages in, she can safely move, or even worse, she just snares him and you don't move at all.
Yeah, most certainly. Morgana's always one of those annoying champs. And it's like, well, she hit granted, it's slow moving, but oh nope, she hit a skill shot on me that has the size of a fucking tank shell, and now I'm just gonna be sitting here for a year and a half. Like this is great. I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, unless LeBlanc can manage to burst either Nocturne or Zaya, there is no one the other team that I really see her wanting to pick a fight with.
Absolutely not. So, now, how are you feeling about the mid lane matchup? I know you already talked about not liking the Blanc into the Vladimir with the troll pool essentially mitigating the chains here. But do you feel like the LeBlanc is still going to be able to get enough agency in the rest of the map to warrant the pick, or do you feel like there's just too much kind of no space there from the rest of Collective?
So if LeBlanc, which I feel like it's really hard because I've watched Faker play LeBlanc, it's really hard to kind of CS perfectly unless LeBlanc is able to shove the lane hard, which Vlad can also counter as well. Unless she's able to shove the lane hard or come exactly from base to one of the side lanes, I feel like it'll be hard for her to roam because Vlad is honestly just a cooldown monster. He doesn't need any mana. He just is, as long as he has his abilities on cooldown, he can literally run it again.
Well, we are going into the spectator delay here, Silent. I think we got as much thoughts as we're going to get out of this. And it's just going to really be up to either team to see how they want to navigate this game. But ladies and gentlemen, hang on tight as we will be going to spectator delay. But real quick, you having a little bit of issue with your League of Legends play, don't worry, Metafy can help you out. So just hit !Metafy or the link will be there shortly. Go ahead and click on it, take a look, and get a little bit of help in your play. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be seeing you very shortly.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back as both teams once again taking to the Rift. We're seeing, I think, another five-man fan from either side here. As it's going to be that side swap, will be the side of Collective on the blue side, DZG on the red side, and Silent. What are you seeing? Anything worth talking about here?
I mean, we see that Aelor from the Collective Colors has kind of gone the traditional summoner spells. On the opposing side, We are seeing a more aggressive bot lane summoners from both the Kaisa and Amumu. We have the Exhaust Ignite, so it'll be interesting to see if they're gonna try to start something early and pick a fight.
Yeah, and I think it should work out to their favor. You have the binding coming in. You have the feather pullback. Well, at level 2, really. So it's gonna be exciting to watch if you're a collective fan, to see that unfold. But looks like it will not be a lane swap this time. Now we didn't really talk about it, but Silas and Amundo, I don't ever see a world that Silas has the damage to really take down that Mundo quickly.
I think if Silas is able to abuse his, because he does max his W, so I think if he's able to abuse it and Mundo tries to do exchanges with them from melee distance, I do think that Silas has the advantage there. But I'm hoping that Ale just throws cleavers and just says, I'm not participating in this until level 6.
And that's absolutely what he should do. And uh, also another thing to consider here, like with the exception of a Nocturnal, there's not too many great things for Silas to be able to pick up.
I mean, you have the Nocturnal, but you also have the Morgana ult. Because of his ability Engage, he'll be able to lock down the Xayah. And if you want to just be beefy for absolutely no reason and you don't want the team to kill you, you can have Mundo's ult too.
Yeah, always options to kind of boil that one out there. He did go with the Conqueror, so should have a little bit of survivability, especially with the Kingmaker debut. It is absolutely nasty. Early game, nothing too exciting going on. Everything kind of being farmed out exactly like you'd expect. And DZG getting that little bit of a gold lead early just off the CS does feel a little bit of happy.
Yeah, but we are seeing R kind of start abusing the trades, and if Ale maintains this distance, I do think that he's going.
Ooh,
Yeah, Argo
that
will
was a clean
capitalize.
go there from Argo, getting a lot of damage. And first blood goes into Argo, the Radis's pocket.
I mean, if there's someone that you don't want to see gold into, it's definitely that Silas.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was just so clean. The quick dashes, the connect on with the abductive scond, and the follow up damage was just there, and he did that without ignite. And now we're seeing the damage come in once again. Mundo's just walking out this one, but massive wave gonna crash here, and Mundo should be able to even out the CS lead at least. And DZG sitting happy with that first blood gold in their pocket, but no, absolutely. Now, personally, I don't know if I agree with the teleport here on Argo, just because of having the Mundo. I think double teleport, or sorry, double ignite or triple ignite might even been a little bit better. But now Lord Beach gonna just be able to pull this one out. Ty not gonna really be able to find any damage there, and a good gank, but it was just easily walked out.
I mean, I can kind of see the Silas. I mean, just judging from the angle, if he wanted to run Ignite, he would definitely go for it to win lane. But I think a Silas that can kind of roam and kind of TP early and make a difference, especially with the ults that other lanes have available, I think that can be a threat as well. But I mean, you're just looking at him kind of abuse on cooldown this Mundo. That Mundo doesn't even have his passive.
Yeah, and oh, he will not, or he will connect with that one. More damage coming down, and it will not be enough there. But that is still a lot of abuse that Brownie is taking. He's trying to regen up what he can, but not feeling very safe to walk forward, and he shouldn't because there is a Trundle sitting in his jungle.
Yeah, but I mean, it just looks like another poor timing. There's absolutely no reason that Trundle should be there because there's no lane to gank. Like, there's literally no room.
Certainly, keep farming, especially since Mundo has the flash available. If you're able to burn it, cool, but there's not really a lot of kill pressure there. And that, the fact that that flash is still available is a testament to how much Brown Ale did not expect to die from that all-in from Silas.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting it from the minute I saw that exchange. It's just the way that you play it, you just have to play from distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's honestly nice to see that bot lane's kind of been quiet for both sides really, because that means that Kaisa has an opportunity to kind of get stronger, but it also means that they have not been snared by this Morgana's long range with their tank shells, as you've been saying.
Yeah, absolutely. But it will still be a slight CS lead to the side of Saya on collective colors. But one thing that we haven't really looked at, just because there's not been a lot going on, there is a CS lead in the side of GVG's LeBlanc here. So DZG feeling pretty good about that, feeling good about the top lane that they were able to secure, but both jungle and AD carry a little bit behind in the CS department.
Yeah, I mean, this lane phase is going a lot better than... Actually, I would say it's about going roughly the same as it did last game. Really, we'll see it start sliding one way or another when we start seeing these team fights. Can they focus on one player, or are we going to kind of see a mismatch of, hey, let's target whoever's near me?
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as soon as Snapback hits level 6. You know, we talked about all the damage that Lord Beach was doing last game, but a lot of the plays were being generated off the back of Aelor and off the back of Snapback, looking for their ultimate combination and synergy. Now, one thing to consider is that Snapback has just been heavy farming, trying to hit 6 as soon as possible. When that happens, I imagine we'll be seeing something.
Are we going to see an early Drake attempt?
Oh, well, they're sending the members up for it, but there will not be an engage on it. I think they're looking for Lord Beach again. They're sending the Moo, they're sending the Trundle here, but there's Flash, there's Pool available, and now he pops the Pool. Will he be able to? There's the Flash as well. The Snare connects, will be enough follow-up damage, and GVG takes down Lord Beach. The damage going to come through for a definite lesbian when the Moo with the ult coming through, but it's not going to be enough to do anything significant. Now DZG find a kill in the mid lane, found the kill in the top lane, setting up 2 kills and a 10k gold, or 1k gold lead, sorry.
And you can tell he didn't expect it because he honestly had an opportunity before flashing to use that ghost to kind of get him a little bit closer under that pool. But he just flashed out of instinct and flashed in a straight line that Amumu just said, I know where you're going.
We said we were expecting to see something at 6 to flash forward to connect on the Fear, but the Fear is going the wrong way. Will it be the follow-up damage? It will not. The heal coming in for the Kingmaker. Brown Ale going under the tower. Brown Ale will fall to the tower. Argo with a well played out play.
Yeah, another well play by Argo. No TP this time to get back into lane, so Argo should be able to safely shove it out the lane.
Should theoretically be able to. But one of the issues that you're going to have here is there is no heal reduction coming in for Argo, and he was just able to heal up so much from the King Slayer, Kingmaker, one of the two. And that will be Drake started up from the side of DZG.
Yeah, I mean, this time they are getting the first Drake, whereas last time they got the second Drake. GV just being his annoying self. But, you know, Morgana able to easily walk out of it. They definitely have this Drake, but the question is, do they really need this many numbers still?
Well, they are keeping Morgana down here, and actually not going to be sending him up to the mid lane. There's still a CS lead for the side of GVG, now looking for some damage in, but you know, one thing that we didn't talk about is the amount of spell shields on the side of Collective, but that's going to be a flash forward. Snapback has nothing to do to survive. GVG with another kill coming in, and DZG are snowballing this early game in their favor.
Maybe it's the blue side curse of, you know, let's walk into the neutral objective and find out what's happening.
Yeah. And it's definitely not going in the favor here of the side of Collective, but still not all doom and gloom. Mundo is going to be a little bit of a menace unless Silas just keeps absolutely dogging him in this lane state. Bot lane is still staying about even, which, I mean, if you're the side of DZG, you should feel pretty damn happy about that. Kai'Sa will outscale Zaya every day of the week, so DZG playing the early game a lot better than we saw last time. And Argo still looking for those trading patterns. It seems like it's not getting nearly as much mileage as before. But that's just the nature of the matchup. The Spectre's Cow for the Mundo versus the Amp Tome, and the Codex and the Lost Chapter there for the side of Argo.
Yeah, Silas does eventually start losing that matchup just because Mundo heals and just runs as he pleases. Especially with that, it looks like a Spirit Visage coming in. Could be a Force of Nature as well, I believe. But it does look like it's going to be a wet noodle fight top. But I mean, LeBlanc also has gold now, so can Vladimir heal through this and kind of get to that point where he has those 3 items in order to scale, or is he...
Well, we're going to be seeing a fight. There's going to be damage coming on the Snapback. He pops the ultimate to get a little bit of question marks going on, but the Amumu ult, Curse of the Sad Mummy coming in for the last bit of CC that GVG needs to go 3-0 on LeBlanc.
Yeah, I mean, these rums from Definite Lesbian are definitely making an effect on these lanes.
Oh, most certainly. And now DZG, like, cool, you're getting the kills. Now, when are you going to start translating it? And the answer looks like it's going to be the Rift Herald here to try to start breaking some of these tower plays, start getting a little bit of that objective gold in your pockets as well. And there's just not enough manpower on the side of Collective to be able to do anything about that. But Awar down here in the bot lane says, I'm going to just take plates under the Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa not wanting to fight this one at all. Getting some damage out here, might look for it, but 2 plates going over to the pocket of Awar feels pretty damn good for him to try to get back in this game.
Yeah, one was really low, so I'm interested in seeing if they're still going to make a play mid.
While we're seeing Awar go, or I'm sorry, Vanosphere go forward, the Feather Pool does not do anything, so ultimate for ultimate, and it will be the Rift Herald dropped in the mid lane. Definite Lesbian hanging around, maybe looking to get some of this gold as well. Says, hey, I'm helping y'all out. Let me get a little bit of the reward here. As that charge will go through, plates will fall, and DZG still maintaining a 2k gold lead.
Yeah, this is quite a turnaround for DZG Arcadia. I mean, everything's going in their favor, and honestly, it's great to see there that the roams are kind of making an impact. The jungler is kind of being nullified, so kind of Nocturne isn't able to do what he wants in this game.
It's even better to know after how bad Game 1 went that DZG still is showing the fight, right? They know that there's still stakes on the line, they're playing for it, and it's good to see that, Game 1 just did not completely demoralize them.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental fortitude is definitely a key thing in the best of threes.
I mean, mental fortitude just as a league player as a whole is one of those, intangible objects, or intangible skill sets that you really can't see until, you're in the comms, you're dealing with the actual, the players themselves, but, you can just see it in the playstyle here that they're hanging in. GVG looking for damage on the Lord Beach will pop pool and get away. We're seeing some fighting going on the top side of 12. Brown Ale getting targeted up. Will GVG follow that on up? That one's going to be a little bit suspicious. Snapback should be able to get the shutdown here. He knows which one. He flashes forward, gets the shutdown on to GVG, and that's a lot of gold going into Nocturne's pocket there.
It is interesting to see that he did not use his ult to try to do that, and he used his flash to kind of close the distance.
I definitely was expecting the ultimate as well, but now we're seeing the trades going on under the tower here, and they're not able to get Brown Ale, but oh no, that's going to be a lot of damage going out onto Argo. He took the ultimate from Brown Ale to maybe regen back up. He should probably be using that here shortly. But yeah, DZG just kind of overstepped a little bit that one. Should not have gone underneath that tower. And oh, there's going to be a trading pattern coming out. Will it be enough? No, the passive was available for the Mundo. And surviving in there with a little bit of health. And Argo still opting not to pop that ultimate. Goes forward, hits another one. Damage coming through, and that will a killing spree for the side of Argo, the Rats.
Yeah, I mean, these chains, they're practically magnetized to this window at this rate. I mean, I can't really explain why.
Forward, push to the side, Mummy going through. That's going to be Vanosphere going to the back line, getting some damage on Awar, but will be enough. Now we're seeing Nocturne go through. The kill goes down, and Vladimir will fall, but that also costs Definite Lesbian her life. Morgana dies, Kai'Sa dies. Now we're seeing Ty running for a snapback. Will it be enough? GVG goes forward, but Awar flashes, not able to follow the damage, and that will be a 2 for 2 in the side, or actually in the bot side of the map. Now we are seeing a teleport come in. Drake is still going to be here to look inside of DZG as they're bringing 3 members in to try to get it. They do still have the smite available. Snapback is still alive, but I don't think that they know DZG brought the manpower down here to do it. It's going to be Drake number 2 going inside of DZG.
Yeah, and if they continuously have these disadvantage fights where Nocturne still survives, it'll be interesting to see if he's willing to swap out his oracles for a blue trinket and kind of just use his ult to ult the dragon and smite for free. Try to smite steal it.
Yeah, well, he opted not to do anything, and that will be DZG getting a second Drake. Wait, 1 second? I think we might have a little bit of a spectator bug, so it's going to be the Hex Tech Bridge. Gods, that bothers me. I'm like, wait a second, there can't be 2 oceans. But yeah, so DZG sitting on a 2k gold lead. They are sitting on a 2 Drake advantage here, 15 minutes into the game, and this one going so much better than game 1.
Yeah, I mean, Collective still has an opportunity to get back into this game. The fact that Mundo has died 3 times isn't really having a bearing on this game, because as long as Mundo is able to kind of outlast us later on, it really goes to moot. Silas needs to push this advantage while he has it, so if he can start making plays elsewhere to kind of elongate the leads of other lanes, it'll have more of an impact than having this top lane.
Certainly, and one of the things that I was a little concerned about was I was thinking that DZG might have been shifting Argo, um, in my opinion, a slightly stronger player than GVG, down to the mid lane to try to stop Lord Beach. So I was worried that maybe if Lord Beach had the little bit of a more favorable matchup and player skill, that he would, kind of run away with it. But GVG hanging in there excellently, filling in 4-1 on LeBlanc. Vladimir sitting at 0-2. This is going the way that DZG wants to go on almost all cylinders and aspects of the game.
Yeah, I mean, although we're looking at quite a change where top lane's kind of...
Well, we see the training patterns come out. That's going to be the ultimate pop for Argo to get some health back. Both of them are going to just ult and heal right back up, and that one's going to fizzle out for sure.
Yep, here starts the beginning of the wet noodle fight top, where basically both uses ult and neither really kills each other, but they do a lot of damage to each other. Brown Ale needs to just avoid these chain connections. I know they're magnetized and everything, but for the love of God, please avoid some.
Yeah. Scan Abduct is definitely ruining his day for sure, but and Argo is using it off cooldown, which he needs to do, because if you just use it every once in a blue moon, then it's going to do nothing because of the Mundo passive. And DZG, one of the things that we were looking at earlier and that's going to come to fruition is that tower falling in the bot lane. Oh, but Brown Ale, this is going to be a little bit of a rough one for him. He doesn't have the ultimate available. Argo the Radis is taking the tower damage, flashes out to stop it. Ty will get the kill. I think that was Subjugate going down, and DZG strike back with the top side of the map to answer for the tower in the bot lane. Now we're seeing chains connect. Do you imagine that we're going to see the pool? Might not be available here as GVG in the mid lane gets the solo kill on the Lord Beach.
So, honestly, I want to say that either top or mid could have been saved by just Nocturne ulting. Kind of throw a confusion out for the rest of the team, because no one will be able to see, what's going on the map. I mean, he was within Raptor, so he definitely was in range of mid.
The one-on-one, the exhaust goes down. Venosphere will get the solo kill onto A-Lord 25, and DZG up 8 kills, up 3,000 gold. We like to see it as Rift Herald is starting.
I mean, that is one thing you do not want to see, Kaisa finally getting your item.
Uh-oh, quick ultimate coming through here. You have to think that's going to be a dead Kaisa. Has no access to summoners. That's going to be a lot of damage coming out from her, but not enough. Snapback will take down Venosphere.
Yeah, I mean, he has, interestingly enough, I mean, he does have the heal cut from his Grievous Wounds, but the only one that heals in this game is Silas, so I'm not even sure if it's worth an early item, in my opinion.
Trying to focus on him, but there's also a little bit of healing coming out of the side of Ty, and naturally 80 carries will lifesteal a little bit. It's not a complete loot item, but I agree. Maybe put your items in the other bucket, but it's going to be the Scuttle Crab coming in here, DZG taking the resets, and Drake in 45 seconds. You have to think that that one's going to be a fight.
Yeah, I mean, the solo lanes of Collective are meant to scale, so there's still a threat that Mundo and Vlad will eventually scale to the point that, even if LeBlanc is able to all in, she isn't able to all in enough to be a threat to either one of them.
You're absolutely right, and if they build any sort of MR, it's going to be really hard for DZG to strike back unless Kaisa starts to get fed. But you saw what happened. Didn't get any of the plates down there on the bot lane, was able to get the solo kill, but immediately answered by Snapback. So DZG, they need to make sure that they start getting some gold into Kaisa's pockets to have a little bit of variance in their damage profile. Binding will hit, a lot of damage going out, the ultimate coming through as well. GVG gonna have to use the double dash to get out, but the ultimate comes through. Lord Beach gets the shutdown, and that feels good for Vladimir.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that they enjoy flanking, they definitely had GVG's number there.
Oh, that's going to be a flash forward. That is a 4-man ultimate from the side of Definite Lesbian. Snapback flashing out of this one. Damage coming through now, but it will be a shutdown on the Silas. DZG have no one left really in this fight now. Alor is going to be getting the damage out on Tide. Definite Lesbian looking for something here, and Venosphere will be the next one to fall. Does get the trade damage back, but Definite Lesbian is the only one left alive. Going to be taking the Rift Gate to get out, and that's going to be the side of Collective starting this Drake. In DZG, you lost GVG. Do not take that fight in a 4v5. It was not worth it. You lost members, you lost shutdown gold, and you lost the Drake.
It'll be interesting to see, because we see GVG coming for this fight. Will Dragon win, or will one of these teams?
Well, we're seeing the damage come down. There's no smites available for either side here. The teleport is coming through. GVG looking in to get the damage now. Brown Ale is going to be the only one left to the pit here. As Lord Beach said, I no longer want any of this. Now Lord I'm sorry, Brown Ale will fall. That kill does go over to, oh no, flash forward, oh, just, oh, it was a steal! I think it was the pull from Morgana that got it in. So, I definitely thought DZG struck back. We're going to be able to get the Drake back in their pockets, but that was not the case. Brown Ale did fall, but ultimately, Collective getting the Drake there. That is bad news bear for the side of DZG, as this gold lead still hovering about 2,000, but definitely not as one-sided as I thought it was going to go there for a while.
Yeah, and you know that definitely was not a lot of damage because Morgana has no AP items outside of one tomb and a Zonia.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was a binding that hit. I think it was the pull, like from Morgana. So that was definitely not what I was expecting to happen. I saw the kill go over. I thought maybe Nocturne was going to be able to get into the pit and steal it, but twas not the case. Twas the support. So DZG here now back on the map, looking to kind of get some damage up on the top side. Sending some people up here to get control over the Nash. I don't think either side really wants a 20-minute Baron though.
No, but Vlad can safely scale right now. You see the LeBlanc kind of rotating away, so are we looking at DZG Arcadia rotating to the top side to try to make a play for this, or are they going to try to make a play soon? Because in my opinion, there's a time definitely deadline on this game, because if they let Mundo and Vlad get to full items, this game is, I can say it's definitely not going to be in favor of Arcadia without some miracle.
Yeah, oh, certainly not. Especially we talked already about the valuation of Magic Resist. Mundo walking in with his Spirit Visage. It is a good item for him. Night Harvester coming in for Vladimir, along with the first of his needlessly large rods. And I don't think he's actually going to rush for a Rabadon's this game. He did pick up an Amp Tome and a Health Crystal, so maybe looking to go for Heal Cut, potentially, or something else. We will see. As yeah, you look at the kills in this game and then you look at the gold and you're like, something's a little different here. But those shutdowns have been massive.
Yeah, and we're looking at this Vlad slowly come into play. I mean, he started off, what, 0-3, and now he's 1-3-5. So, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he's starting to become a threat.
Yeah, well, the gold is still in the favor of DZG, but they have to find a way to start accelerating the tempo here. Otherwise, like you said, time and time again, the scaling. Now, Ty looking forward to get a little bit of damage out, but it's actually going to be snapback here, found in the top side of the map. Kaisa going forward as well, but now Mundo just going to be taking up a lot of damage. The steal coming in. Argo will get the ultimate, will get the kill onto Nocturne. Now, Brown Owl should be the target. He will fall, and Alms has fallen as well to GVG. Now DZG set their sights on the Baron. You have to think it's theirs.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This should be an easy take of Baron. It almost feels like the two teams have reversed spots. Maybe it's the power of... I thought that, you know, blue side had the stronger side, but, you know, at this rate, maybe red side is, with the counter picks, is where it's strong right now.
Maybe, as DZG, I said they needed a way to accelerate the tempo. Baron is certainly one hell of a way to do it, so they're going to get back onto the map here, and I hope to see it leverage well. Like we did say, this game is not over yet. There's still a lot of avenues here for Collective. They need to play this map smart.
Yeah, and we're looking at this Mundo build, this Hullbreaker, I believe. I mean, it's either Starix or Hullbreaker. I think Hullbreaker would be a great threat because I don't think any one person can kill Mundo except maybe Kaisa if she's allowed to kite him.
Yeah, well, we know that Mundo goes where he pleases, but at 0-6, he hasn't gone to too many of those places this game. We do have Drake spawning in less than a minute. DZG getting the priority on this objective here. This would have been their soul had Morgana not stolen one earlier, but it's going to be damage going out on the Lord Beach. He pops the pull, pops the flash. Now we're seeing the ultimate coming in from the Nocturne. DZG might have overstepped, as that will be Silas getting shut down. That will also be Ty falling as well. GVG going to no man's land all by themselves. They used the W to go right back where they were, but there's three members of the side of Collective looking. Alms does hit the binding, but I don't think anybody else saw it. Brown Ale walking forward, getting damage on the Vanosphere, now hitting Definite Lesbian. Keeps running this one down, but definitely does not have a team there anymore. Yeah, think that this second Drake, well, fourth Drake technically, will be going over into the side of Collective Pocket. They got a lot back there. Not too much to short the gold deficit, but DZG bit off way more than they could chew.
I mean, with the Hextech gates, dying now isn't so bad because the dragon's not up yet, so they still have an opportunity to make a play at this again.
Well, they're going to have to. This Drake has started up. I don't think the timers are going to work out in their favor, and that is a very fast dragon take here. Second Drake now secured by this side of Collective. Teleport coming in. Silas is now down here. Definite Lesbian might look to go forward, but does not see the avenue. And this Nash, it's almost completely fizzled out. You still have it on Vano. You still have it on Definite Lesbian. And Argos. I'm sorry, yeah, GBG. So, but not for too terribly much longer. They're going to get this mid lane tower, you think, but I don't know if they're going to get too much more.
I mean, still not bad to try to utilize the remaining part of the Baron to kind of get this. The question is, how much longer can DZG Arcadia use their wallet to smack Collective Colors? Because it's a time game. Like we've been mentioning, Vlad is starting to get his third item at the, well, second item at the moment, and Mundo has his Hullbreaker. He is literally going to be split pushing, or at least he should be split pushing, until every Baron dragon abruptly. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to contend with this, because Mundo should be at a point where he's able to do more than he was previously.
Another thing to talk about, you talked about how much of a menace that Silas can be, and we talked about not much of the healing going out in the game, but it seems that Nocturne really wants to prioritize taking Argo out of the game. He has finished his Camouflage Chainsword completely.
So what do you think is the next item for a Nocturne? Death Dance?
I mean, Death Stance would definitely be an option. You also maybe might to look for some lethality, because there's not really too much of the tankiness going on the side of DZG.
I mean, with the Kai'Sa's items, I feel like she should be online now. Trundle is on his way to, looks like also a Spirit Visage. And kind of, we see this aggressive Silas kind of getting the Zonia. So he is realizing that, you know, when I do make aggressive plays, I do need a way to buy some more time so that either, you know, whoa.
Well, he's in no man's land right now. A snapback will pop the ultimate to get on top of him. He bought the stopwatch, he used the stopwatch, he's regenning up a little bit, trying to get out of this one. We'll be able to abscond through. Snapback wanting to follow this one up. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know if you can 1v1 Argo right now, and he definitely realized that he could not. He went through the wall, and that was definitely not enough to get the kill. Argo just playing it as best as he could. Unfortunately, a stopwatch is not going to be available for the next team fight. Because the rest of DZG really pressuring on the spots on the map to get the tower, and this is going to be an interesting fight here. I think Brown Ale should be fine, still has access to the ultimate. Pop it now, and the 1v1, it's going to be close. He actually dodged a chain, Silent, but that will be bot lane tower falling. Argo not winning in this 1v1, getting a lot of the healing here. One thing to keep in mind is Brown Ale does not have access to any sort of heal cut, and it's now starting to punish him. Argo just healing so much off of the W, and I think that's going to have to be Mundo's next buy as he's trying to run this one up. Argo looking for the next one, but that will be the ultimate coming back in for Nocturne. Argo trying to go under the tower once again, bit off more than two. Snapback takes him down.
I feel like that's a little part where Argo could feel that, you know, he can kill him if it remained a 1v1, but it's a little bit too much of an ego play. I mean, getting that window really does not add up to anything for your team at the current moment. Nothing's up, there's no objective, so other than that, I honestly think that fight is a fight that should not have happened. I feel like it's a low elo thing where people are like, hey, I can say if I'm the better player in this one, but it doesn't actually have any advantage for macro play in this game.
Absolutely not. Well, you bought time for your team to take the tower, but they were going to get it regardless. And Mundo opted to not go for heal cut. He went up and instead picked up a bombing cinder, looking to get his mythic item completed and go for his sunfire cape here. So for the side of DZG, next Drake is a minute. Baron's up in 2 seconds. What do you want to play for? Because the timer is a ticking.
I honestly see that if I was on Arcadia, I would definitely want this dragon more than anything, because this Mundo and Xayah can wave clear easily.
Well, another thing to consider here that I think DZG might have misstepped a little bit with is Mundo heals, Vladimir heals, and the only heal cut that you have is a Thorn Mail on the side of Amumu. Actually, yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit of a rough one because Mundo shouldn't auto attack Amumu, and neither should Vladimir. So getting effective grievous wounds out on the enemy team, that's gonna be a little bit of a tall order here, Silent.
Yeah, and it looks like Silent.
Teleport coming in now from Silas, who wants to join this. Mundo has his teleport available as well, but he also has access to the Hull Breaker. So the side of Collective just might descend him for the tower. We're seeing the pings come out. Looks like the tower is the call, and they might just look for a steal. Kaisa going into the mid lane. They don't want to fight this, and I think that actually is the right call here from Collective. Show restraint, scale back up, get Mundo some gold. If he takes this tower, I honestly think that might be worth from the side of Collective.
Yeah, the one thing you did not want to do was engage that dragon, because if you lose it, that's immediately a Baron. But I mean, we're watching their entire team rotate over. I think Mundo's dead.
I think Brown Ale definitely overstayed, but he does have the whole team here. That was a binding connecting onto Definite. But now the follow-up here, will it be enough? Vladimir going forward, gets a lot of damage. Ty is going to be first with the chopping block. You have to think. Just kidding, he flashed. Definite's going to fall. Now, Argo the Raditz going in, trying to get some damage out. Mundo will fall. Kaisa did take him down, but we do see Argo falling as well. GVG trying to do something here in the back, gets a lot of damage down, but will it be enough? Binding connects, but I don't know if that was the right one. It was! And now Ty going onto Lord Beach, and Ty theoretically will fall. That is 5 kills for 1. All they lost was Mundo, and Collective are 100% back in this game after this snap.
Yeah, Mundo's 0-7. I honestly think that the way that they rotated was quite something, because it allowed them to get flanked by Collective Colors. I don't blame him for trying to get that Mundo, but Mundo is not doing anything. I think Silas is more than enough to handle him. Honestly, it's just making the smarter plays and try to farm up.
Oh, certainly. Well, Mundo did finish his Sunfire Cape, so getting even more tanky as this game goes on. And DZG still have no real heal cut options for him, but that's not been the problem. It's now Vladimir sitting on a gold bounty. Kaisa, definitely getting shrinked by this Saya, who is now 7-2. And honestly, yeah, Kaisa got a kill in the last fight, but definitely not getting too much more than that. Vladimir's not dying, Snapback's not dying, and Collective is just rolling over this late game.
Yeah, and you're seeing Venosphere realize, oh, I'm hitting only Mundo and Vlad. Maybe I need to get LDR to get rid of those beefcakes in front of me. So hopefully it does make an impact, but from an ADC's perspective, it does not feel like much when you have LDR and a Mundo or a Vlad's running you down.
Well, DZG did get the Drake in that last play, 2 minutes 40 seconds before Soul is available. Definite Lesbian looking to get here, but Mundo goes where he pleases. Damage follow-up and CC follow-up not going to be there. This is going to be a push from Collective to go into this mid tower. That will fall. Gold lead for the first time in this game goes into Collective Color's pocket.
I do have to say, what is Snapback doing? Why is he so far back when the rest of his team is so far up? If DZG Arcadia was able to pull a trigger on anyone, he was in no room to help anyone.
Yeah, 100% not. And another thing too, I was trying to bring it up before that all kind of panned out. DZG still have the Drake to play for. They're able to get Soul, Hextech Drake Soul is very valuable. But they need to find a way to get back on the map and be able to get things set up in their favor. And if I'm not mistaken, the map isn't too terribly dark for them, but definitely not an ideal situation. Now, Definite is here running forward, trying to look for something, takes a binding to the face, and the side of Collective is just able to walk this one out.
Yeah, I mean, Mundo's still pushing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I could say that Collective could improve on, it is wave management. They need to practice the 3 waves crashing, or at least playing safe enough, because at the moment they're taking turns getting the guillotine from DZG Arcadia.
Well, that will be an exposed inhib for the first time in this game, and it looks like Collective might be going for number 2. Definite looking, does not connect with the Vanish toss, but good pillar here from the side of Ty. Will it be enough? Alms is forced to go gold, has some Morgana binding out, and that will be Definite Lesbian falling after the ultimate. Kaisa falls it as well, just not positioning correctly. Ty gonna get locked up, Argo looking forward to go, but Vladimir's gonna pop the pull. No, ooh, connected on a minion, but not close enough as Argo. Oh my god! Oh, Alor going forward will just pop him, and Mundo's in the base hitting the towers!
Yep, this this is definitely a game going as expected. I mean, he's
Ah, you you said it. You said it. The scaling, the scaling, the scaling, and Mundo's. You know what? I can't win, but I can go smack shit really hard with a hole breaker, and that's absolutely what he's doing. 20 seconds on this Drake, and I think that's gonna have to be the turning point. Unless DZG just say, hey, we want this one to go 5 minutes more. I don't know if they are able to do it. But man, this could be interesting. We're seeing DZG step out onto the rift right here. They're looking to get this Drake. 4 seconds. The side of Collective know that they want it as well. Beach, Alms, Snapback, all down here as well. Mundo, he's in their base. Now Vatosphere did go back, but that means there's no AD carry down there in the fight. Now it will be Alms falling, and the damage going out here. On to Brown Ale will take him down, but now we're seeing once again the re-engage for the Drake. There's 2 members of the side of Collective go down. This might be sold for the side of DZG.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that their base is open right now, getting Soul is definitely needed because they cannot afford to give this Drake to the other team.
Well, if they do, well, here it is. Will be the steal. It's the steal. Snapback goes in with the ultimate, gets the smite onto the Drake, and DZG, I feel like, lost their last hope to really get back into this game after the deficit from that Nash fight up in there on the top. An exposed base, they don't have soul, and that's going to be 5 minutes before they can try again.
Yeah, I mean, I see Window going bot lane this time, shoving all the way in. And currently, even though you killed the Nocturne, you can't get the Baron at the moment. So honestly, I think it's a great play by Collective Colors to make that steal smite play. And the fact that it's successful is even better.
I mean, Snapback pulling up in both games, honestly, just doing a lot of work. Unfortunately, he lost his GA for practically nothing. Because, I mean, I think he just would rather have turned the item off and just die there instead of having it go on cooldown. But yeah, Death Dance, GA, he has the Stride Breaker along with the Chem Punk. And honestly, you look at it, Vatosphere has not been surviving in almost any of these exchanges silent.
Yeah, I mean, with the team comp that the other team has, I mean, the Morgana Snare where you're stuck for days, you have the Vlad who can basically burst you, the Nocturne that has been willfully ulting you every team fight that he's been able to get to you, and Window just stands there. I mean, he literally... This is probably as infuriating as inting Scion to in most cases.
Yo, absolutely. It's like, what can you do? And Mundo going where he pleases. He's in the bot lane right now. Still has no heal cut. I think Argo should be able to deal with him. We are seeing that pattern going out there. But oh my god, Ty just gets absolutely deleted from Summoner's Rift. Brownie and Argo fighting. That will be just Argo popping the ultimate there. But that's going to be Nash. And Mundo already is taking everything that he wants. Now imagine him with the Nash. DZG, that's going to be an uphill battle for sure. You have to hold on somehow. Hope that you can get this Drake. Hopefully you can find the picks. But I'm not seeing it, Silent. I'm not seeing it.
I mean, as it seems, if one thing has been seen by the other team, it's the fact that they're starting fights off of the Morgana Snare. So if you can figure out where Morgana is, that is most likely the angle of attack that Collective Colors is going to come from. So wards are important. You need to be there early. If you're not there early, find safe places to ward. Don't walk into unwarded neutral territory.
2 minutes on the Drake. We have Mundo walking onto the bot side now. We're seeing Nocturne pinging the Drake spawning in 220. So the side of Collective know what they need to do. Does the side of DZG know? It's really hard to get a pick on this Xayah. She's so safe with the Featherstorm. Vladimir is sitting 3-3, has a fuck ton of items in his pocket to do a lot of damage. DZG are going to be in an uphill battle now. They're looking to get onto Brown Ale. We've seen this story as old as time, and will it be a snapback going in? There's going to be a lot of damage down Subjugate going on to Brown Ale. There's a lot of damage coming out from Vanosphere, and now Vanosphere is on a killing spree. We are seeing snapback pop the ultimate here, but I don't think they're going to get anything out of it. So a free kill onto Brown Ale buys you some time for sure, but only buys you a minute. Drake is minute 30.
Yeah, I mean, picking him honestly was great for alleviating pressure, but like I said before, Collective Colors needs to find a way to control their waves. There is not one person that should be pushed more than the other, that way they can manage equal pressure and take objectives. But if you continue to do that, it allows the other team to kind of pick you.
Well, GVG will get himself a nice little blue buff here, and we are watching the Doomsday Clock hit 1 minute here, Silent, as you know that's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight before it, it's going to be a fight during it, or it's going to be a fight after it. One way or another, both teams being on soul point. That's the level of excitement I'm looking for here.
Yeah, I honestly think the next person that wins this dragon fight, not necessarily the dragon, but wins the fight, is most likely going to be able to end the game because of how late it is.
Most certainly. Well, posturing here now. Definitely Collective have the strength on this fight. Argo backing for maybe one last item here. Or just backing for the reset. Yep, backing for the reset. Did not actually buy anything.
Oh,
before we
definite
left the
lesbian.
cave. But no, definite. Walked right into it. The ward, the binding, the death. And DZG lose a lot of their CC here. As Drake in 14 seconds. I don't see how they can come back from this. They have to play this damn near perfect, but without Curse of the Sad Mummy. That's going to be a very, very tall order. DZG looking to go for this here despite being at a man deficit. Drake has been started. It is burning down. DZG, if you take the fight after this objective, you're going to be in a bad time. The objective is taken. Damage going out now. It's going to be damage out on the tie, but no, Brown Ale is going to be taken low here. Now, oh, wow, Argo will be the first to fall, shut down, as that will be Zaya taking the kill. Vatosphere next to fall, going into the Guardian Angel here, and everybody is dead, with the exception of Vatosphere. You knew it was coming. Mundo gets his first kill of the game, and you have to think that that is going to be the game. The only person coming up is Definite Lesbian in 3 seconds, looking at every single individual from the side of Collective Colors left, and they are walking at this base.
Yeah, they're picking the side lanes that already have an opening. If they said these 3 minions are just enough, let's end the game.
Right
Oh,
down the middle, that will be the Nexus falling. Definite Lesbian is definitely dead as the Nexus falls, and Collective Colors with a 2-0 victory over the side of DZG Arcadia.
Well, that was a game.
That was a game indeed. It was a series indeed. DZG came back early game of game 2, but they just did not find the gas pedal that they needed to bring that one back into it. Kaisa did a lot of damage. Most damage in the game, but it just was not enough. And Collective Colors, well played. Mundo not tilting and just kind of running down the gullet of DZG was absolutely what Collective needed to buy the rest of the team some time to really get in, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the season for DZG Arcadia. They definitely had some great looks this season, but ultimately could not pull it together. Silent, any closing comments for not just this, but the season?
I think you said it really well. It was unfortunate. We definitely saw these players put out their best things that they wanted, and we saw a lot. And hopefully next season will be even better for them.
I am hoping so as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for coming out and checking out DZG Arcadia as they close out their season. Be sure to check out our sponsors, both Metafy and Dubby. We'd greatly appreciate it. And if you're wanting some more league action, last chance to get EG out of the play-in stage is coming up here shortly as they take on DFM. So that's going to be awesome to watch. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much once again. Catch y'all later.